This is Charles Haley. You're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. Takes the handoff, sweeps to his right, gets to the 20. He's at the 30. Needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline. Breaks the third tackle. Comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, 49ers. 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst.
Young, back to throw. In trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs. Gets away again. Goes to the 40. Gets away again. To the 35. Gets back at the 30. To the 20. The 50. 49ers. 7 lead. Wallen's 27-yard line. 49ers into the backfield. He'll take himself for first down and one. Alex Smith is in. Touchdown. His left hip. Third down. Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down and goes, and it's good. Touchdown. Touchdown 49.
It's second down. Ryan takes the snap, goes to plant on the left side. It's Russell. The 49ers picking at Navarro Bowman. He's rejection. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown. No greater rejection.
Kaepernick shoots it. Hold everybody. Colin Kaepernick. What a game. Touchdown.
Boom! What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back. Guys, we are here to bring you guys the episode you all have been waiting for, okay? Now, just a reminder, guys, tonight is all about us. Not the team, it's all about us. We are here to bring you guys our 53-man roster. This is our wish list. If we put the team together, how do we want it to be? Not how do we think the team is going to do it. That's another show for another time. But before we get started, my man, what's going on, Breezy? How you feeling? I'm sorry. How you doing, man? What's up?
You still make me smile, man. It's funny, man, but I'm in an okay mood, yo. I'm in an okay mood.
Okay.
I'll be fine. I had mad energy, and then with I was good, but I'll be all right, man.
It just took a half a second to zap that energy out of you, huh?
It did.
Damn. I'm sorry, bro. For real. I'm sorry. Tony, man, how you doing, bro? What's up? What's going on?
What's up, fellas? How we doing today? Everything good? Wayne, sorry about what just happened. I was really pulling for you, but it is what it is. Got a lot to talk about today. We have our 53s. I'm still screwed up on mine. Still not 100% sure, but let's get to it.
Yeah. Now, guys, we do want to apologize. The audio will get better. We are working on it. Every time we played it, it sounds something different than the 2 times we did it. And then this time, but we're going to get it better. We're going to get it worked out. We're going to figure out what the kinks are and get that joint worked out. But, guys, we got to start with some news, man. Rumors. Okay. We can stop talking about the 49ers being in the market for Jadeveon Clowney, right? That's over. Boom. Done. 49ers also, what was the other one? They started cutting people. Y'all want to start with that? Or do we want to talk about the player who got injured and was put on IR?
It's up to you.
All right. Tavon Austin, the wide receiver, messed up his knee. He is done for the season on IR, not coming back. Now, they didn't say if he's going to be the IR designated to return or not. They don't have to say that yet, but he is injured and he is gone. Do the Niners do something like, I don't know, look for Mohamed Sanu, who was recently released by the Patriots? What are your thoughts on all that, Tony? Let's talk about both of those.
Listen, I know it's been put out there, and I know because this team has a track record of sticking with connections of the coaching staff. Obviously, Sanu was there in Atlanta with Kyle. I don't think they pull the trigger as of right now. If something happens to one of our top 3 and potentially with an injury or something like that, possibly you might see them pull the trigger on it. But I think they're going to stand pat with what they have right now. Yeah, I think they're going to stand pat.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it should be a problem with anything. So, now, are you concerned with Austin and his loss? I mean, let's be honest. I want you to be completely honest. We have, unlike Nick, we have the ability to use hindsight. We now know that Austin won't be making the 53. But before that happened, did you have him on your 53-man roster? Let's go ahead and have him on.
I did actually.
Wow.
I had him on his 53 for a couple of reasons. Number one, when I originally did my first one, James, we didn't know Richie James. We didn't know his status. It was still he's still on the injury list. And the second thing was, darn it, I forgot. I just drew a blank. Deebo Samuel. He could be that chess piece where Deebo Samuel was on like the jet sweeps and like, the quick bubble passes where you get the ball in his hand. I mean, listen, he was a top player in the country when he was at West Virginia. He was highly touted. I even think the previous regime was very high on him. The general manager was, at least. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I had Austin. I was kind of upset. I think Austin, in my opinion, is a little bit of an upgrade as a wide receiver aspect over Richie James. The return game, I mean, it is what it is. But obviously, he's out of the equation. He's on the IR right now. And now Richie James is active, and he's potentially thrown back into the equation.
Okay, so let's talk about it. That's the other piece of news, right? Richie James is activated now. He is back, and people are assuming he's just going to step right in and resume those return responsibilities, especially in the absence and the loss of Tavon Austin. But I'm going to say something here, and you let me know what you think about that. I'm going to say not so fast. I am not so sure Richie James just comes in and takes over as the top return guy. This team has been putting everybody back there, from Brandon Ayuk, Dante Pettis, Trent Taylor. There was someone else too. I'm drawing a blank right now. But they've been putting a number of guys back there in the return game. Do you guys think now that Richie James is active, he just pops right in and takes over as the top return man on the team? I mean, Breezy, what are your thoughts on it, man? You just pop back in here. What do you think, man?
Yeah, he's going to pop right back in. He's going to slide right back into that kickoff return position. Some wide receiver. We knew when he went down with his injury, we knew he was going to come back, guys. We just didn't know when. And it just so happened that you guys talked about it, Tavon Austin getting injured. When I was doing my list, those were the two people I had toggled between positions. So I guess I got my answer. Who's gonna
Well, that's what I asked Tony. I'm going to present it to you also. And
okay.
Like I said, a moment of transparency. Before we knew of Austin's injury, did you have him making the 53?
So I did have Austin making the 53, assuming that Richie was going to still be on the NFI list.
Okay. All right. Understood. Okay, so both of you guys had him there. That's pretty dope. And he also said that the other reason was because of Deebo Samuel's uncertainty as well. So we're not sure if Deebo and what his availability will be. So Tony, that's another reason why he had Austin making the team. All right, so Richie James kind of broke the news of his return, right? Remember we did the video last night. We put the post up. I think we still have the post in here, actually. Where is that at? Where would I find that?
I got you.
You got it? You know where it is? All right. Yeah, so we saw this post from Richie James, and we said, oh, is Richie James back? And we talked about it. Okay. So today, we see something very similar, but from a different player. So I'm going to ask you guys if you think that he's coming back, all right? And that is Julian Taylor. Julian Taylor posted a series of tweets. The first one said, "Can't wait to put the red and gold back." And hold on, wait, let me find it. Hold on, let me make sure I'm quoting you guys. Shut up, George. Shut up. Let me find these Julian Taylor tweets because we definitely want to make sure we are quoting him correctly. Okay, so let me see. Jull. He's got two L's in his name. There he is. Oh. It's magic.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good, bro. So Julian Taylor tweeted these two things today. First one, super blessed with the praying hands. And the next one, can't wait to put that gold helmet back on. Is he pulling a Richie James here? Is he calling his own shot? Is Julian Taylor back off of the PUP list?
I think so.
I'm sorry, go Wayne.
No, I think that's what this is. I think these guys, it's the week is coming near, the week is drawing near, and you're about to see these players come off these little lists that they were on. My only question is, if Julian Taylor is back, I haven't heard much about Ronald Blair, so this possibility that Blair might still be out and Julian Taylor might be in. So, what were we gonna say, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, this could be the same scenario as Richie James, what Julian Taylor is doing. With that being said, man, listen, I had a really was that lightning? I had a really tough time trying to get my defensive line lined up on the projections for the 53, and now you're going to add another piece. So, I mean, honestly, my honest opinion, I don't think they should rush Julian Taylor back. I mean, unless he's 100% healthy. I know these guys are trying to make that push to get on a roster, to get, back into the game and dress up and suit up and play. But, I mean, listen, you got guys on this roster right now that, I mean, I'm not even 100% sure he's going to be on the roster with the guys that they have on the roster, especially with the situation that they're having with the stockpile of interior players rather than exterior players on the outside as far as the edge speed rushers. So I think it's going to be really tough for him. So, listen, keep rehabbing. Get your knee straight, whatever it was. And maybe the IR him with a designated to return if a defensive lineman goes down. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's tough.
Yeah. Just a quick sound check to everybody out there who's watching. Guys, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. How is the audio and the video right now? It's perfect on my end. Tony, are you having any issues?
You're just a little faint for me, but I think it's my earphones that are going.
Oh, no. Okay, so my microphone is a little bit further away than it normally is because we were doing something. So let me move this closer. Let's see if that helps. I know Breezy's volume was a little bit low, but that was a soundboard thing that he turned that volume down. How is that? Is that better?
Yeah, you're better now.
Better?
Definitely.
All right. Breezy, let's get his little sound check real quick. Everyone's giving us a thumbs up. They're saying it's a little low, but the sounds are good.
I mean, the sound good. It's just the connection looks a little choppy. So when you guys start talking.
All right, so what about you guys? The audio good? I mean, not the audio, the visual good for you guys also out there? So
I'm good.
Sounds better now. All right, we're gonna keep it rocking then. Breezy, I don't know what it is, brother. It's crystal clear on my end over here.
Okay.
But what I see of you guys. So, and I'm in with the Ethernet. So hopefully we're okay. If there's any problems though, guys in the chat, let us know and we will try to fix these connections. Okay. Breezy sounds the best. Okay. All right. I see what's happening here.
Oh, look at the damn friggin' thing he's got in front of his face. Jeez.
It's all good. Visual is fine for me, the people are saying. So, all right, so we're good to go, guys. All right, so we touched on Julian Taylor. We touched on Richie James. We touched on the loss of Austin. And Tony, you have the other news. The team is already releasing players. Looks like they've already began to cut down to 53. This was a very interesting move. I want you to give us the name and position because this happened today.
They cut Taylor, the cornerback that they picked up halfway through the season. Actually, not halfway through the season. Once Kwan Williams went down, he was picked up. He is a nickel corner, can play outside, but really is better on the inside in the slot. They added him. He had a pretty decent training camp. Had his good days, his bad days, but overall he was pretty decent. And it's a surprise cut today. It's not surprise, but it's kind of early that boom, just one guy was cut. I think that's because of Richie James coming back. It's not.
No, Austin would be the Richie James.
Yeah, but then they signed that other kid, didn't they? The defensive end. Yesterday. It's so tough to keep up with them because they signed.
They did sign a defensive end yesterday.
They signed the kid. Remember we did the in the beginning of the episode yesterday, the defensive end.
Maldo or something like that. Malvo.
So maybe this could have been the corresponding move that was just announced today. I mean, I don't know, but it's so hard to keep up with this offseason.
That's interesting. I thought they cut him because of Julian Taylor coming back. Honestly, I really, really thought that's why. So I don't know. And like Tony said, it's hard to keep up with, who's in and who's out. And if we're at 80, if we're at 87, if we're at 68, we don't know. It's hard to tell, but we'll see what happens, man, guys. We will see what happens. Any other news? Any other news that you want to go over, Tony? Did you get a chance to check out the pressers today?
What did I listened to a couple interviews on KMBR on my podcast.
There you go.
I didn't listen to any pressers, but there is one thing I just want to bring up that it's interesting that they not made an announcement today that the 49ers decided to cancel their practice tomorrow. Instead of going through their regular scheduled practice, they went to potentially doing a walkthrough the day after. They possibly give the players a day off, or possibly, listen, everyone's going to be locked in that McVay draft room, and they're going to build this roster. And I honestly think it's going to be a lot. Huh?
Did you say McVay?
Yeah, the John McVay draft room.
Okay.
In the building. I think it's going to be a lot more tougher than people think it's going to be, because I think there's pieces that are like on that line that could potentially go both ways. And I also think, on the other hand, it could be potentially decisions could be made financially. If a guy has, like, for example, Mark Nzocha, if they cut him, they walk away clean and clear, 1.5 back into the salary cap. They don't owe him nothing. They already paid him his bonus, whatever. And even if, say, hypothetically, if Tevin Coleman decides, they move on from him, they'll free up $2.5 million. So there's ways that this team could allocate and try to build up their cap space to potentially roll it over till next season and have a little bit more wiggle room than just $4 or $5 million. All
right, we'll see. All right, so we're going to keep this thing moving. We're going to keep with the recent news and everything. And I want to ask you some questions here. Now, we got word today that there was a grade 1 strain of a hamstring for Jason Verrett. Now, this is the lightest of strains that you could possibly have. It's not season ending or anything like that. But I have a question for you, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
We picked up Tavon Austin. We know his injury history, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
We picked up Jason Verrett. We knew his injury history. 2 years in a row, here we are. I have two questions for you. One, when we heard the positive talk about Verrett last offseason, is it the same as what we're hearing this year? The reason I'm asking is because it's positive praise, and then what we saw didn't equal up to the hype that we were getting this time last year, when he finally got on the field. So yeah. I'm wondering, should we be putting any credence, or should we be listening to what they're actually saying, or does this team just say positive stuff about all its players?
I think there's a little more to it this year. Okay, he was coming back off of, I think, a knee injury. I believe.
I don't remember what it was last year.
It was either knee or Achilles. So let's just say it's a knee injury he came off of. He was legit fresh out the gate off of that injury, trying to come back and make that comeback for the 49ers and, getting a roster spot and being a depth piece, potential starter, rotational guy, and special teamer. As you saw, we went to the game. As we all know, he struggled. He gave up those 2 plays he was on the field, 2 big plays. Clearly, that leg was not 100% back. They stashed him. They IR'd him. He had another procedure, and now he came back. They brought him back this year. So that tells me that they seen something that, listen, there could still be something here. It's not going to cost us a ton of money. It's a cheap end. It's a low risk, high reward type deal. With the majority of this offseason of the pieces that they've been adding, all the free agents, low risk, high reward. So excuse me. So they saw something, they brought him back. He was competing, he's actually playing pretty good. They're talking about potentially being a backup in the slot, competing up for the cornerback opposite of Sherman. And he was holding his own, all positive talk, all positive feedback, the beat writers, the players. So with that being said, I think he's a little bit better position. It's a grade 1 strain for this hamstring, so it's nothing like, oh my God, it's like grade 2, grade 3, or potentially slight tears. So I think he is a little bit more ahead of the game right now, where compared to where he was last year. So I kind of buy into what they're saying because there's a lot of positive, and honestly, I think Sherman. Sherman speaks his mind. If it's not good, he'll tell you, there's things he needs to work on, stuff like that. But I honestly think Verrett will make the roster and will be a piece in this secondary, whether it's inside or outside, we'll see. But I think he'll make it, and I think he'll help his team.
Wow. So you think he's going to make this roster? That's incredible to me, man. Because let me tell you, I was listening to one of the pressers today. I know you said you didn't get a chance to listen to it. I didn't hear the interviews on KNBR, so we can bounce those off of each other. But one of the things that I was listening to today was George Kittle talking about how Jordan Reed is back to his healthy form, saying that he looks as good as he did before when he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, they played in the same system, but how would he know that he looks as good as he did before?
Who's that? Sherm? You're talking about?
I don't think Kittle studied Jordan Reed like that. I mean, it was a year and some months, or a season and a half of him in Shanahan's system. I'm sure he would have studied other tight ends from Shanahan, if at all. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand why, like they gas each other up on purpose at the microphones. You get what I'm saying? Like they say all the right things about, this guy looks better than he did before. He is definitely improving. He's back to where he was before. How do you know that? How do you in particular know that? So now I'm wondering if I can take anything positive they say about another player with any value.
Yeah. So you said Kittle said that?
Yeah.
Because I also heard Sherman said it.
No. Sherman has said that, but Kittle said it today in the presser.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, like someone just said it inside the chats. Listen, Kyle could have showed him film, potentially of Jordan Reed when Kittle was a rookie, and used that as a baseline to show him like the type of routes, what he expects from his tight ends. Because let's face it, he was his top guy in Washington. He was his playmaker in Washington under his dad. So. I mean, everything that I've observed, he looks like he's back. And the Niners were smart, and they brought him along slowly. But the main concern is what got him here and almost like, on a 1-year prove-it deal is nothing to do with knees, ankles, tendons, shoulders, back. It's concussions. And I don't think he's been taking hits the way he would potentially in a game. But listen, I read, I didn't hear the interview. I read the interview. Like, they posted like on Twitter what he said on tweets. He said he was 100% medically cleared, and that was the only way he was going to come back. So I trust he probably went to the top notch, like neurologists and stuff like that. And listen, for what we got him for and the role that we're expecting him to have to take some of the load off of Kittle, I'm all for it. I just hope to God he stays healthy, because if he stays healthy, it's going to be tough, man.
Okay. All right. And then let's get to what we heard today from the different people. You said you listened to a couple of pressers on KNBR. Here's the thing. The team posted this 30-minute, various players respond to today's whatever. And then you go back to their YouTube page. Now, when I watched that, it was Kittle and McGlinchey. Who was the third person? Let me see. Hold on. I believe it was Kittle, McGlinchey, and nope, it wasn't Trent. That was it. I think it was just Kittle and McGlinchey. And now they have videos on here of Robert Saleh from today, Trent Williams from today. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it at all.
Saleh was earlier today, like around 3:30 p.m.
Turn your volume up, Breezy. We can't hear you.
All right.
It was just really low.
I said Saleh was earlier today. He was on around 3:30.
Oh.
So they're not breaking them up or whatever like they normally do. So The editing team is getting a little lazy.
Oh man.
But you know what, man? I at this point, man, I don't even care. I just want to get to our 53-man rosters, see what we came up with, and let's rock out our show, man. There is no practice. You mentioned there's no practice tomorrow. Practice was canceled.
Yeah, I think they designated that day to put this team together, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I know Nick said in the chat to give the players a day off, but
that's what they said. That's what they said. That's what I read, that
Yeah.
they were getting a day off for recoup and
Yeah.
recovery. But we all know that they got some work to do. So
yeah, a lot.
yeah, I'm cheered up. But my internet, something's wrong with the internet. I was just on the internet for an hour doing stuff. So all of a sudden it's bugging out.
Hey, is it storming up there where you are?
I don't know what it's doing outside. I've been upstairs in a minute. I've been in the basement, so I don't know what's going on outside. But it's just weird because all of a sudden we were just online for like an hour, like straight up.
It was fine, yeah. Sean says here, Kittle had said that Shanahan had him watch tape of Jordan's. Yeah, he did say that. That's what Nick was calling to tell me. He was saying that, from the time he got here, Shanahan had him watching film of Jordan Reed. So that's how he would recognize, he looks back to that form, which can be very exciting. It could be very, very exciting. So that's it. Is there any more takeaways before we get to these 53-man rosters? I got a nice way for us to do this and run through everything. Tony, did you hear anything that stood out to you other than Akello being the best corner? Other than
that's not what I heard.
That's exactly what I'm not joking. I heard that.
Oh, he said it.
Yeah.
He said it, man.
Who said that?
What's his name? Hutchinson. Jake Hutchinson was on KMBR.
Yeah.
Oh. And they were talking about making like the 53 and how
who should be
what he observed that he is the starter. His ability to track the ball has improved. And this new scheme fits his style, all this stuff, all positive about Akello. But on the flip of it, you don't hear nothing from anywhere else. And this is why I say it again and again and again. This is why preseason is so huge for people like us and fans that just watch it and people like us that try to like talk about it and give the fans like some thoughts and takes that we believe in. But we are literally blind, and that is why it is so damn hard to come up with 53 effing players. I'm sorry.
You know, guys, I wonder if this is by design, though. And that's what I've been trying to figure this out, because Kyle has been, as he's been trying to elude us away from the pressers. Like, he doesn't really want to speak anymore. He's kind of like done, like he's canceling practices now. And I think it's by design. I think regardless of what goes down in the practices or whatnot, like he kind of has a fit of what's going on for his team. And I will put this out there. I don't think the 49ers are signing any more players unless a freak something happens. So right now, I think they're going to try to narrow it down. So far, they've let one person go, and that was Jamar Taylor. So I think they're pretty much going to try to figure this out, and they're going to practice on Saturday, and that's going to be their final if, ands, or buts, and then they're going to go at 4 p.m. and submit the 53.
I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Like, if you're going to fire me before I show up to work. Don't make me practice.
No, because you're gonna get the paycheck, dog.
They get paid by the week, don't they?
They get paid. They show up. It's a payday.
That is crazy. Just fire me. Don't make me wake up early, come into work, and then you fire me at the end of the day after I do all my work for you. Because then I'm going outside to your company vehicle and I'm flattening tires. Like, don't do that to me, bro. Just fire me before I show up. Like, don't waste my time, bro.
I get where you're coming from, but those guys are going to show up to work, get a check, and then get the Uber home.
I see the bet here. Look, I've already made bets with everybody. I don't bet money. I bet push-ups. Let's get healthy, man. Let's get healthy. I got to burn off some of this whiskey calorie, so let's bet some push-ups, man. 30 push-ups on it. Not dollars. I'll take that, though. But listen, let's get to this 53-man roster, guys. We're going to have some fun here. What we're going to do is we'll do it all by position, all right? So we'll start with quarterbacks. We're all going to go around in a circle with how many we have. And then if we all have the same amount, there's no need for us to – well, then we can say the names afterwards. But like with quarterbacks, we know if there's 3, then we know what 3 it is. You know what I'm saying? So, and just keep in mind, again, guys, this is our 53, not what we think the team is going to do. That is tomorrow's show. All right? So, you guys ready? You ready over there, resident GM?
Yeah, I'm not going first.
No, of course not. Hype man, you ready, bro?
Yeah, I was looking at the calories in whiskey. It's not that bad. It's about 100 calories.
That's why I can get away with just doing a couple push-ups. I'll be all right.
Yeah, man. It's better than wine and beer. I'll tell you that. Shot gin or whiskey is 100 calories. So I knew that. Whenever I go out, I'm like, I don't want to drink because I don't want to put on extra calories. And now I know I'm gonna have about 3 shots of whiskey. That's only 300 calories. I could bet off. Jumping up and down. All right, so starting with quarterback position, correct?
We're gonna start with the quarterbacks. How many quarterbacks do you guys have on your 53?
Okay, so I have 2 quarterbacks.
I have 2 quarterbacks.
I have Jimmy Garoppolo and CJ Beathard. I'm just playing. Okay. I have Jimmy Garoppolo and Nick Mullins.
How many do you have, Tony?
2.
Same 2 as him? Beathard and Mullins?
Jimmy Mullins.
Yeah. I have 2, but I have a different one. I have Jimmy.
Don't change. Don't.
I have Jimmy.
Mike, you be lying.
Look at my pick. It's right. It's Beathard. It says Jimmy.
Okay.
Beathard.
Okay.
I have Jimmy Beathard on my 2. Now, I have a reason why. I feel like we actually have viable pass catching targets this year. I think 3 years in the system is good for any one of these quarterbacks, and I think that Beathard has the better arm and can take advantage of the entire field more than Nick Mullins can. Where if we lose Jimmy Garoppolo for a stretch of 7 games, honestly, I would rather have Beathard in there than Mullins because I feel like everyone just won't stack the box against Mullins. So that's the way I'm looking at it.
Haven't we seen Mullins be successful and Beathard be more unsuccessful?
Yeah, but we've seen Beathard put up better numbers and still lose games.
We care about numbers or wins?
What I'm saying is ability. I'm talking about the ability. Beathard has more ability than Mullins has. Mullins just happened to win more games than Beathard. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I know that we love Mullins because he beat the Raiders and he beat them convincingly, right? That's everybody's hero.
No, we love Mullins because when he comes in the game, the offense still flows. When Beathard comes in the game, he runs around looking like his head got chopped off.
I hear you,
that's the difference. Now, I'm not going to disagree and say that throw a good deep ball, but how many of those balls are caught?
The biggest.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Go.
No. If I had to put, I think Nick said it best yesterday on his show. He said he has Beathard on here, but he makes the practice squad. I would say that Beathard would be the number 2 quarterback if they trade Nick Mullins.
Now, is that something you're tipping to? Is that something you're leading up to, a potential trade of Nick?
I think so. I think that's something that might go down. I really do. I really think Beathard would end up being number 2 because you heard Kyle say that they both were playing for the number 2 spot. And that's obvious, right? No one wants to be the number 3, but they both have their strengths and weaknesses, just like Mike alluded to earlier. And who's going to give you more of a bargain? Now, Nick Mullins will be a free agent, right? After the season. And so will CJ Beathard. But who's going to, if they can trade Nick Mullins and get maybe like a 6th or 7th round pick, I think they do that. I don't know, Tony. You the GM. Would you do that?
I mean, it makes sense, but you got to see, again, we haven't seen it, but is Beathard still holding onto the ball too long? That's something I want to know. I don't think it's his arm talent. I don't think it's his toughness, obviously. His biggest knock on him was holding the ball too long. I saw firsthand. I was at the game versus Arizona, and I watched him. He held the ball for 4 seconds, and I don't think there's any offensive line that could protect for 4 seconds, and he would come up looking out of his ear hole. So I just think that if he proved in camp that he's getting the ball out quick. I mean, this isn't live. It's not full pressure coming at him. These guys, if they get through, instructed to run by him. Don't hit the quarterback. So you don't know. But if he showed the ability to get that ball out and not hold it, I would say he could potentially, that could be a very strong scenario of the team unloading Mullins, knowing that they're not going to be able to afford to keep him and keep Beathard, or Beathard would be the cheaper route. So that's why I think it's legit.
All right. Let's keep this thing moving here. All right. So we have a disagreement between the three of us on the quarterbacks. Let's move on to the running backs.
At least we got the number right, though.
Yeah. We all agree with 2 quarterbacks instead of 3, which would be the first time in a long time this team has done that. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and I have here also the numbers of what they did. Oh, no, I didn't save it yesterday. Of what they did last year on how many of each position they kept. I had those numbers. I can pull that up while we're talking. But let's go ahead and get to the running backs, guys. How many running backs did you guys have? Just running backs, not fullbacks.
Okay. I got 3.
I got 4.
I got 4.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's see if we have any differences here. First, Breezy, since you only got 3, give us your 3. Let's see if all 3 of yours made the roster.
I have Coleman, Mostert, and McKinnon.
I have those 3 also. What about you, Tony?
I have Hasty.
Do you have Coleman?
Yeah, I got those 3, and I kept Hasty.
And Hasty. Okay, and I kept Jeff Wilson Jr. instead of Hasty. So that's all right. So we agree with those 3 guys. Tony, why Hasty over Jeff Wilson Jr., someone that we've seen in this system?
I just really feel that he is a special talent, and it's not a knock against Jeff Wilson at all. It's just watching him at Baylor, and I explained this during our breakdown post-draft and once the undrafted free agents became official. He has the ability to juke or sidestep somebody, make them miss, and then go right back into like full gear. You don't see a lot of running backs be able to do that. Like go from full sprint, put a move on somebody, then like hop step and go right back to a full gear, potentially even faster. So he's just a rare talent the way he runs, and he has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield just like Jeff Wilson Jr., even though Jeff Wilson Jr. was a running back, a wide receiver at Northern Texas. I just think Hasty is just very talented, and I honestly think they could be able to they'll be able to sneak Wilson onto the practice squad. And for the reason is, yes, there's film on him. Yes, there's a lot of positives, but there are some negatives on him as far as ball security. And some teams shy away from that. Even though he was pretty good last year, I honestly think we're gonna get him back onto the practice squad.
Okay.
But the knock against it is by doing that, we're losing the size aspect from our running back position. Jeff Wilson, I think, was the biggest running back that we had weight-wise last year.
Yeah. So I have very similar thought process as you. The only difference is I think that Jeff Wilson just was so good when the few touches he got, his efficiency. Teams are going to take a flyer on him if we cut him. I think that he gets grabbed up by somebody. Where if you cut Hasty, no one has seen anything from him, and there's going to be 40 other running backs that hit the field. Jeff Wilson Jr., his name will stand out in a crowd, and that's why I think you keep him, and then you can try to stash Hasty. So that's really the only difference there. Both of these guys are very good pass catchers, good guys with a good first step and all that. So, we don't have any crazy disagreements there. Last year, just to be clear, the team kept 3 running backs last year. All right, they kept 3 quarterbacks. They kept 3 running backs. Fullbacks, how many do you guys have making the roster?
You didn't want to know why I only picked 3?
Oh, sure. Break it down.
All right, so, I mean, there can only be 53 men on this roster. I feel like having 4 running backs when 2 of those guys can go to the practice squad and 2 of those guys will probably make it onto the practice squad. And I'm talking about Wilson and Hasty. So those would be my 2 running backs. Him being an undrafted free agent, rookie, coming and trying to make a start on his team, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he takes up a whole roster spot, especially when we're talking about wide receivers and things like that. So that's why I have I only picked 3. I picked the 3 short guys, right? The first starting running back, whatever, to change the pace back, and then third down specialist. I think that's all we need. I think that's what Kyle needs. Now, does that mean we won't see Hasty or Jeff Wilson Jr.? They get practice squad, we're definitely going to see them. But I think that's if I'm the GM, which I'm not, that's the route that I'm probably going to try. I'm going to try to stash Hasty there. They haven't seen film on Hasty, so they don't really know what he is doing because you haven't really seen him in camp. So there's more likely he won't get picked up, and it's more likely Jeff Wilson to get picked up before Hasty. But like Tony said, he has some negatives too. So I think those guys can make it and get stashed on the practice squad because I don't think there's a lot of teams really struggling at the running back position right as of right now.
Okay. All right. I think I caught most of that. That's good. All right. So I understand your logic and I get it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this ticker across the bottom here that just shows how many of each position they kept last year. So we can keep referring to that if we need to. All right. So I see it, man. Breezy wants to stash these guys. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I think it's a smart way to do it, especially with the expanded depth charts. You know, it works out for everybody. We can get anybody on that practice squad as long as they make it through the waiver wire. So,
hey, Mike, real quick, how many D line did we keep? Because you only put O line.
I don't think he did any of the defense yet. Oh no, he did.
Oh, we kept 10 defensive linemen. Let me change it. Good eye there, Tony. Let me edit that. My bad.
Yo, I'm tight. Can't believe he hit that shot.
That man's still stewing. He's still stewing, man.
And I can't type. Wrong podcast. I'm sorry. All right, so going to fullbacks while he's typing that, right? So I only have one fullback, guys. I have the
Juice. I got one also. Here. How many you got, Tony?
I agree with that.
Everybody got juice here?
Juice.
I like it.
We're going to the wide receivers?
Yes. So after that, actually, no, let's go to tight ends. Because
the wide receivers is
a longer list. So let's go to tight ends. I think this is going to be interesting, though. How many tight ends did you guys keep?
I got 4.
I got 4.
I wanted to go 3 to stash somebody to keep somebody on the roster, but I went 4 due to Reed's injury history.
So who you got?
Kittle, Reed, Dwelly, Warner.
Yeah, that's my list.
All right, mine is a little different.
Go ahead.
Would you say?
Wait to hear you. I want to hear where yours is different.
I have Kittle, Reed, Harrell, and Warner.
So you don't have really making this team. Okay.
Now the reason I have Chase Harrell in there is because I believe I can't prove it, and even if I knew it, I can't say it. I believe he is being cross-trained between tight end and fullback, so he would also be a backup for Juice in a pinch.
The only way I see Chase Harrell making a 3-man roster is if there's an injury to Ross Dwelly that's just not, suitable as of right now at the beginning of the season. That's the only way, because Ross Dwelly does the same thing. He can catch touchdowns in the red zone. He down passes, and he served as a fullback when Juice out. So you don't have to teach. You don't have to teach, huh?
You just described what the tight end position entails. What you didn't say is who's more talented, who's better. You know what I'm saying?
But we don't know if this rookie's better.
I know, right. But we don't know that.
But we know what we get out of Ross Dwelly. So you're gonna take something you don't know. That's another guy I think I would try to stash. But we all know what happens when we stash things.
Would you rather have Warner or Selleck?
I'm gonna take Warner.
Right, because we know what we got in Selleck, though. We don't know what we have in Warner. That's proving my point, is that you can take somebody without knowing what they are over a known commodity. That's why I want Harrell.
Not really proving your point. But okay, I guess it is. You're right. I'm taking Warner because, of him having just a good camp. and us seeing block. I guess Harrell's having a good camp, but Ross Dwelly's was having a good camp too. I think until an injury. I think he got injured. They said I'm breaking up. I
thought
you
this
guys.
was only on my end, so that's why I didn't say anything. It's like getting a little blotchy.
Yeah, so I'm getting blotchiness from you guys and no blotchiness from me on my end. So it's the internet connection, guys. I there's nothing I could do, but I don't know what it is.
All right, so let's keep this thing moving here, man. Do you guys have any thoughts on Harrell? I know you guys all kept Dwelly.
I think he potentially a year or two down the road, he could be a pretty decent tight end. He could definitely take Dwelly's spot a year or two down the road. But I just think right now he made the transition from wide receiver at where'd he go? Arkansas, right? He went to Arkansas, I think. At Arkansas, and I just think he needs a little more work from the tight end aspect. So I'm good with – I understand why you kept him, but I just think – now, here's an interesting question. Dwelly is yet to be on the field. So I don't know what's going on as far as his injury and the severity of it, right. But he has not been on the field. So this could be something interesting that you could be on here where he could be potentially IR'd, and that's where it could open the door for Harrell.
Exactly.
And it's not questioning Harrell's talent. I just think he's really, really raw right now.
All right. Okay. Well, we will see. And see, I've got a plan for all of this. When y'all hear the rest of my roster, you'll understand why I kept the quarterbacks that I kept, why I'm going after certain types of tight ends and stuff like that. Like you'll see the plan here. All right. Here's the fun. This is where the fun starts. We're getting down to wide receivers. Okay. Now, last year, you guys can see it right at the bottom of the screen. They kept 7 of these bad boys. Okay. I think our roster counts are the exact same right now. No, Breezy, you have a spare roster spot so far because you kept only 3 running backs. So Breezy is 1 less than you and I, Tony. We both kept 2 quarterbacks. We both kept 4 running backs. We kept Juice. We had 4 tight ends. Breezy, the only difference is the 3. So Breezy's got an extra man out there. I'm very interested to see how many wide receivers he kept. So let's hear it. Let's start with Tony. How many wide receivers did you keep?
Oh, I think I'm going to go with 7. My initial plan was 7, but with Austin going down, it's kind of like, all right, do we bring back Richie James? We know what he can do. We have the kid like Schoolcraft sitting in the wings who, you know, that little video that they posted was pretty damn impressive as a route runner. Did I say his name? Schoolcraft, right? Craycraft, sorry.
Craycraft, Schoolcraft.
Damn. And of course, we cannot forget we do have Kevin White on this 80-man roster. I will say that. But my solid 6 locks, 100%, is going to be Ayuk, Debo, Kendrick Bourne, Trent Taylor, Dante Pettis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and Jawan Jennings are my 6 locks right now. I'm kind of on the fence, like I said, between Richie James and potentially Kevin White or Craycraft. I just think that, especially why you need 7 is we don't know what they're going to do with Debo. I know Debo's running up and down the field like a maniac on the sidelines, but I don't know if they're going to rush him back because of what happened previously to Trent Taylor. So I'm not saying he's not going to be acting, but I'm not saying he's not going to be active or put onto the injury reserve and be out for the first 6 weeks. I think he will be on the 53, but he's not going to be active game days. So now you have to add that 7th piece into the equation to also cover to take Debo's spot. So you're only going to be with 6, actually.
So who are your 7 wide receivers you're keeping as of Saturday?
I mean, I guess.
Well, wait. All right, you thinking about it? Let's go to Breezy. You get your 7 together then. Get your 7 together. Let's go to Breezy, because I think Breezy's going to do a reset soon. So how many wide receivers are you keeping?
Look choppy. I'm looking at it. I'm like, why does it look like this? This looks crazy.
Yeah.
I got 7 wide receivers.
Okay, that's what I expected. Okay. Do you have their names ready?
I got Debo, Bourne, Ayuk, Taylor, Pettis, James. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You said Debo, Bourne.
Debo, Bourne, Ayuk, Taylor, Pettis, James.
One more.
Got Jennings.
Oh, Jennings. James and Jennings. Okay. All right. You got a nice little mix up there. Okay. I like that. I like that. I got a lot of those guys also. All right. If you wanna dip and reset and everything and come back, that's cool.
All right.
Tony, do you have your 7 yet? Are your 7 any different than what Wayne's were?
No, I mean the 7th guy that I'm really teetering with is Richie James. I mean, yeah, I'll just put Richie James as the 7th as of right now because I really don't know if, like, I don't know what their plan is as far as with these young kids and Kevin White. I think they're going to try to put Kevin White on a practice squad. I know you probably have him on your active roster. Because if you don't put Richie James, right, who's going to do the returns? I understand I mentioned Jerick McKinnon was got reps at kick returns. Trent Taylor and Pettis did the punt returns as well as other people. But if it wasn't for – I mean, I don't know, man. It's tough. Damn.
It's interesting, man. It's interesting. There's a question in here. A comment says, "What do you guys think of Marquise Gray?" I mean, you know, been here, left, and been around the league a little bit. Just, you know, I guess a veteran presence who could come in a pinch and be serviceable, but no one that I'm like excited about. You know, he's not my Kevin White. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on Marquise Gray, Tony?
He was picked up by this team as a tight end / running back. I remember as an undrafted free agent. I believe he played for Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, I think.
I don't know why when I think of Marquise Gray, I think about the Jaguars. I don't know why, man.
But he was like that dual threat type person. He's very athletic. I remember watch him in the preseason. He was right up to the final cut, and they released him. So I don't see him beating anybody out on this roster. He was a good special teams guy. I do remember that. So I think we're set pretty much for the 4. He could be also flipped to the practice squad as well because once they signed him, they moved on from Swoop pretty damn quick. So it does say something.
Niners and Dolphins.
Yeah, Niners and Dolphins. So I think that with that being said, I think they're going to probably put him, if anything, he'll be on the practice squad.
Okay. All right. So here I go. Let me give you my wide receivers. How many I have first? I have 6. Marquise Lee. That's why I keep thinking Jacksonville. Oh, that's why I keep thinking Jacksonville. Tight end Marquise. Okay. That's every time we said Marquise Gray, I'm like, why do I keep thinking about that? Yes, that is it. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. Facebook user. I don't know who you are because you didn't give the permission to StreamYard, but I appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right. So I kept 6 wide receivers, not 7. I kept 6. Okay. And Tony, we had a little off-air discussion. When I got finished putting my wish list together as my roster, I had 3 extra spots. So I had to go back and add some more people later on. Okay. But listen to this. Okay. I have Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. I have those guys as my 1 and 2, my starters. My number 3 wide receiver is Bourne. My number 4 is Taylor, followed by Pettis, and the number 6 is White. I have Kevin White as my 6th man. I do not have Richie James. I do not have Juwan Jennings. Those are guys that I understand the hype and everything with Juwan Jennings, but I have to see something before I can be like, that's him. I want him. He's the guy. Right? Like, I know I did it with Chase Harrell and everything, but I just, with the wide receiver.
The reason why I'm very high on Jennings, okay, Kyle's been adding pieces to this roster over X amount of years that he's been here. He's going into his 4th year. He is adding guys that are run after catch guys. Now, if you put the film on of Jawan Jennings, that's him to the T.
Mhm.
And another thing that I like about him, he's physical. He's a dog. He brings that attitude. He will run through you. You can't tackle him with one guy. You're not going to arm tackle him. Also, other reasons why I think he could potentially secure his spot, because he offers a lot more things than just being that big slot guy. Jalen Hurd went down, who was supposed to be the big slot guy. He's going to fill his role. I think he's not ready to line up outside a lot. I mean, you could see him line up outside, but you got to remember something. Kyle versus New Orleans had a wide receiver pass play where it was Emmanuel Sanders, okay, where he threw the ball. I think it was to Juice going down like on a wheel route or like just a go route. They tried doing something similar with Richie James. It didn't work out too well. They tried doing something with Debo. He wound up just tucking and running. Jennings was a 4-star recruit quarterback coming out of high school. So with that being said is he's going to add a whole dimension potentially to Kyle's offense. They tried to use Richie James as a wildcat quarterback in San Francisco. It didn't work out good. This kid could potentially give you that wrinkle in your playbook. He could potentially be your wildcat quarterback, and he can throw the ball because he was a 4-star recruit. I just like how he's wired. I like how he's built. I like his mentality. He could high point the ball. We really haven't had a big physical wide receiver like this that goes up and gets the ball in a long time. I mean, Anquan Bolden was, but he was 5'11", 6 foot on a good day. So I just like what he has to offer. He's young. Everyone is raving about him. I mean, Adam Peters, that they did a little video with Adam Peters, how they all were excited that they were able to get him in the 7th round. But listen, I just like what he brings. I like the type of player he is. And I think with Kyle trying to go to a running catch or a yards after catch type offense, I think he could be a good fit, especially working in the slot, working over the middle of the field, man. He's the type of guy that you want to do that.
I think that I would be okay. So I was starting to get sold on Jennings because you guys know I've been all about I need size at the wide receiver position. I want somebody here who can go up and win a contested catch. You know, that's why I was so high on Jalen Hurd, right? And I was super hyped about Jawan Jennings because I was like, all right, if Jalen Hurd can't do it, we can go ahead and do it with this guy, right? And I'm like, yeah, we can do this. But then we got Kevin White. He brings the size. He brings the speed. And I just don't quite know why we would need Jawan Jennings. I just don't know why we would need him. So if you listen to my list of wide receivers, right, you can kind of feel what everyone here does, right? Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Kendrick Bourne. Those are my top 3, followed by Taylor, Pettis, and White. Everybody has a very specific role here on mine. The speed, the guy to take the top off. I know a lot of people were saying that's going to be Tavon Austin. That's Kevin White. Kevin White is that guy. He's the 4-3 speed guy. That's him. So I this is my wish list. This is me going in here and coming up with packages. And when you see these guys walk out on the field, it's like, oh, I think I know what's coming here. So that's why I'm feeling that way, man. That's why I'm feeling that way. All right, that's enough time on the wide receivers. Unless Breezy, did you want to jump back in here on anything?
Nah, man. I have Jennings or White, so it's a toss up. It's between those two guys. One of those guys are going to the practice squad. That's how I have it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So when it comes to the veteran versus the rookie, now White's situation is a little bit different because White doesn't have much positive film out there.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? But I would think under normal situations, under normal circumstances, between veteran or a rookie, with this year being the way it has,
it would be the veteran.
Put the rookie on the practice squad because there's no film on him at all under normal circumstances. So that's just the way I feel. He says we need Jennings because White is a bust. I mean, listen, Everybody said that Marquise Goodwin was a bust and he was a waste of time, and then he came here and had almost 1,000 yards. All right, so I'm just saying, Shanahan gets a guy and the guy buys in, he can get something out of these guys. I think Kevin White's going to be that guy this year. I think Shanahan can get something out of him. We don't know. We'll find out. No Poindexter. No one mentioned Poindexter, man. So we don't know. We don't know.
I think a couple of these guys get stashed. I think 2 or 3 of these wide receivers get stashed on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
I got a quarterback up there. I got 2 running backs up there, and I think I got about 2 or 3 wide receivers up there.
All right. So the last offensive group, guys, is the offensive line. This is the offensive line. This is the big list here, man.
Let's just each read our list. And then
how many players? Just tell me first how many players you guys have. Don't give me the names. Just how many?
I got 8.
Tony, you have 8?
I have 7 definites and 8. I have 8. I'm going to have 8 guys in total. I just don't know who the 8th guy is. I'm going back and forth with who it's going to be.
I know mine.
Because I don't know which way I want to attack it. Meaning, philosophy-wise, well, go ahead. I'm going to have 8.
I have 8 also. So let's see. Breezy, you run yours down. And let's see. By the way, your connection is phenomenal now. You're good. You're golden right now.
Yeah, it was something with StreamYard, yo. I had to sign out and then sign back in. So I don't know. It just takes up so much power, I guess. I got Trent Williams, left tackle, left guard, Laken Tomlinson, center. That's the part where Tony's stuck. But I think Ben Garland's gonna be ready. Brunskill at right guard and Colton McKivitz. I got both of them. Right tackle, McGlinchey. Our swing tackle will be School. And then I got Ross Reynolds as the other guard.
You got all 8, baby. That's my same exact 8 right there. And every single one of them.
Yeah. And the reason I think the reason why you give Ben Garland the spot is because he will be back sooner rather than later. And if you have to move Brunskill at center, you can. And then McKivitz can slide right into that guard position as well. Who's Dre knocking me? I'm not paying any attention
he's
to
talking about Jennings. He's Dre hating on Jennings.
Oh.
All right. So Tony, you heard our 8. I don't need to speak on it. My man, he broke it all the way down. I don't got to say anything. Nothing. Like he broke it all down. He told me.
I think that
why we have McKivitz on the roster like that.
Symmetry ass wasn't Reynolds and injured. These guys are injured. I don't think their injuries are significant to not deserve the roster spot though. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's
Reynolds,
why
I know was carted off the field. I just didn't know the severity of it.
He had a bruise. It was some type of
bone bruise.
Yeah,
well,
it was a
and
bone
the other
bruise.
thing is this, guys. If they're not on the roster to start, so there's going to be guys who can't play. One, but they're going to make the 53 because if not, it's 6 weeks. So they're gonna have some of these guys active. We don't know if Debo is going to play week 1, but we know he's going to make the 53.
Right, but that's why I didn't put Richburg up there because I think they give him more time to heal, and they take they take a guy that maybe has 3 weeks off opposed to 6 weeks off. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just shuffle and figure it out. That's kind of how I got it. I think Tony will correct me.
All right, so I got Trent Williams,
bingo,
McGlinchey, Laken, I have Ben Garland,
bingo,
I have Brunskill,
bingo,
Colt McKivitz, Justin School.
Yeah.
Now, here's the issue. We don't know the severity of Garland. Okay, they said it was nothing serious. He should be back in a week. Yeah, well, he's still out. We have a game coming up in what? 11 days, 10 days, I think. Right? What's today?
Yeah, next Sunday.
10 days we have a game. If he's still not available, that's a big problem to me because now you got to ask yourself, now you're playing with the continuity of the line, okay? I think we all agree that Brunskill has secured the right guard spot. I think we could agree on that.
Yes.
Okay. I've been reading reports.
I don't know if Mike agrees on it, but I agree with you on that.
Brunskill has secured a starting role.
Right. But it will be if center is good to go.
That's a big if, and that's why I said a starting role.
And I got you, but
I think their plan is to put him at the right guard. That's the team's plan. If the center is healthy, right? So if that's your plan, I would keep him at the right guard and let him build a rapport with McGlinchey. And, it's tough. Listen, center's a tough position. If you never played it before, it's very tough. Having a guy lined up inside you, over you, on your other shoulder, and having to snap the ball in the shotgun. Listen, there's been reports where he was sailing balls over Jimmy's head. Okay, that's an issue. You were going into a game, not a preseason game. We're going into a real legit game, week 1 of the NFL. All right. My opinion, I think they should stick with a true center and let him play center. And Grosso, I think that's how you say his name.
Listen, I not to cut you off, but I agree with you, Tony, because they let Ben Garland step in and play the center, and look at how he did.
Exactly. I'm not saying Grosso is top notch. I'm not saying he's a. I'm not saying it. There's a shot he could not even be on this roster if they claim someone off of waivers. He could make the original 53, but then the waiver wire could fly up and say, "Oh, let's go get this guy and drop him and let him plug him in."
This is your wish list, not what we think the team is going to do.
Correct. This is what you want.
No, I think the team is looking at it the same way.
That's not okay.
I think it's both. I'm going from both. I think this is the way the team's going to look at it, and I think this is the way I'm going to look at it. I'm going to go with Grosso as the center. I'm not keeping Compton on this roster because I think McKivitz outplayed Compton.
I don't have him on my mind.
Why would you keep Compton on your roster if McKivitz is ahead of him and Brunskill is your starting right guard? So there's no point of having Compton on the roster.
I think Compton comps Mike Pearson, and we don't want that again.
I think Compton's a step behind Mike Pearson.
Okay, well, I mean, you know what I mean.
I have heard really, really, really
bad reports. Yeah.
About the center that Tony wants to keep, like really bad things.
Well, I mean, listen, I understand. I understand what you're saying. I also heard some things too, but you're talking about one-on-one situations. A center, majority of the time, does not have a center lined up on head of him. And you know what, Mike? I'm going to be honest with you. You have a guard on your right, a guard on your left. There's no reason why they can't punch over to help him get into his block. I'd rather have a guy that can get the snap back and not have to worry about that and make the calls on the offensive line.
All right. I'm hearing footing issues. I'm hearing it's footing and that he spends more time getting up off his back than any other lineman on the team. Footing.
Well, would you rather have a guy that could have help with him and get the ball where it needs to be, or you have a guy that can risk snapping a ball?
Let me ask you this question: Who's a better football player? This guy you talking about or Brunskill?
Well, I think Brunskill, because he is locked up a right guard spot. He's played right tackle. He's played left guard. He played left tackle.
So if we're gonna struggle at that center position, wouldn't you want to struggle with a better savvy person that knows the line better?
Here's the thing: all the positions he's played, he never had to snap a ball. It's
I understand.
3-point stance, fire your hands up, and you make your block. You got to snap, punch, and then realign your hands to get into your block. That's big if you've never done it before.
So
I got you.
Had a shotgun. I know they said that he was snapping stuff over Jimmy's head, but that wasn't under center. That was a shot. I'm sorry, for a game or two, we just can't take any shotgun snaps. That's all. Come on, I'm being serious. I would rather have that guy.
Listen, that's your opinion.
He's going to curve.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, well, Tony's going with this guy, and I like that, and I don't want you to change because it makes sense. Why not bring a center?
I just think they need a true center. Now, like I said,
well, he's the guy on your list.
This could be the 53 on Saturday. Sunday, they put a claim in for another guy, and he's off the roster. But they need a center. They need a true center.
All right. So Tony got 8, and he added in the guy from Oregon. So you guys have 26 offensive players.
I'm at 25 offensive players. Because remember, I have two quarterbacks.
I'm at 25.
I have 4 running backs. That's 6.
Yep.
1 fullback. That's 7. Yep. I have 4 tight ends. That's 11.
Yep.
I have 6 wide receivers.
Oh, you had 6 wide receivers. I thought you had 7. Right. I missed that. I was out. That's why. Right. I'm at 25. Tony, you at 26?
I'm at 26.
All right. So let's move on to the defense. Boom.
All right. Y'all want to start with cornerbacks?
No,
Safeties.
no. Let's just start with the line. Let's start with the front.
Defensive linemen. All right. How many y'all got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 10.
Damn.
How many did we have last year? 10.
Damn, we had 10 last year.
Mother sucker. I know what I'm talking about. Wait till you hear my 10, though.
Listen to this. So when I finished my original wish list of players, Breezy, I was finished with 47.
Oh, you needed to add people?
Then I realized I left the 3 specialists off.
Yep.
That still only left me with 50.
50.
So I had to go back and add people. And one of the positions I had to add, actually 2 of them were on the defensive side of the ball. I had to add 2 defensive players. So this is interesting.
I can't wait to hear. All right. So who wants to go first with their list?
Wait, Tony, how many defensive linemen do you have?
10.
I have 9.
So Mike is always different. All right.
And I added a defensive lineman. So all right, here we
go. So you originally had 8.
Yeah.
You mother sucker.
Let me go first, and then you guys tell me what you disagree with or who the differences are, okay?
Yep.
I have Ford.
Yep.
Givens. Armstead. Jones. DJ Jones. Thomas.
Yep.
Bosa.
Yep.
Kinlaw.
Yep.
Blair.
Yep.
And Julian Taylor.
Yep. Okay. All right.
I want to know who the ones are that you guys don't have, I have on here that you guys didn't have.
I got 3 guys you didn't have. And I got I have 2 guys you didn't have. And then you had 1 guy I didn't have.
All right. So it's probably Julian Taylor, right? Because you guys don't believe in
No, you had Givens. I didn't have Givens. But I did have Julian Taylor. And I added Kerry Hyder and Kentavious Street.
I thought about putting Hyder in here. I really, really did. I really thought about putting Hyder in here. I'm interested. Tony, do you have Street on yours also?
Yes.
I want to know what you guys see in Street. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I don't think any of us have. There you go, Tony.
Well, no, because he's played in games. He's played in preseason.
But he's been hurt.
He don't do shit.
Mike, it's different now. It's different. He had a corrective surgery, I guess. His knee is better. Like, these guys are raving about him.
Yeah,
I think about everybody. This is why I was asking so many times.
Well, they're not raving about everybody.
I wouldn't say everybody.
But when your defensive line are raving about a guy that is correcting himself in camp, and he's what is the thing? His get off is good. Like, if his get off is there, like that's something that we want. And this guy is physically like strong. Like, like we're talking about a shorter version of Kinlaw, like as far as strength. And that's what these guys provide, strength.
I think Kentavious Street benefited from the defensive line he played on in college. And I think John Lynch just wanted some of that. He was like, oh, look at this defensive line. Look at how good they were.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like they had a very, very good defensive line in North Carolina. Like, I mean,
here's the thing, Mike. He's going to be on a top 1 defensive line. Yes, I said top 1. He's going to find a way to fit in, get in and fit in. He's going to do his thing. All he has to do is come in, rotate in and just be productive. It's not going to be that difficult for him. That's why I think if he's healthy, he's a problem. If he's unhealthy, he's probably not going to be a problem.
I just don't. Okay, so let me backtrack a little bit, and I talked about how I felt like Lynch really liked him because of the line he played on. He wasn't even productive in college. Like,
but then he was productive enough to get drafted, right? You can't say nothing because he didn't go undrafted.
Did Beathard do enough in college to get drafted?
I watched Beathard tear my Michigan defense up. So fuck yeah. How about that?
No.
You can't tell me no because I watched it.
Everybody was saying that Beathard was probably going to go undrafted. The Niners reached for him.
Whether they reached or not, I watched them have a productive game. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, of course he had a productive game. Who isn't?
I mean, I've never seen Kentavious Street play in college, but I'm sure he had productive games, and that's what wielded them to
college with 38 tackles.
Well,
He
that
finished all of college with 3.5 sacks. Why is he in the NFL? Why do we draft him with a busted leg?
I'm not
Like,
sure
bro,
why.
I just don't understand.
Was he a John Lynch pick or a Trent Baalke pick?
John Lynch. That's this. He's this regime, bro. I don't get it. I swear I've never understood it from day one. I have never understood the
Potential, Mike. Potential. You got potential.
You got to look at the scheme that we play. They want guys explosive off the ball, pin their ears back, and go do something. That's what he potentially is.
Potential.
I understand he didn't produce only 3.5 sacks, whatever amount of tackles, but if he's blowing up the hole, getting into the backfield, causing ruckus, I guess they see that as a win-win situation for them because there's no responsibility but play to run to the quarterback in Coach Koseric's theory of teaching these guys to play defensive line. They're not punching and bench pressing and doing two gap reads, stacking and shit. No, they're pinning their ears back, and shooting their assigned gap, and just trying to blow something up. And if that's the scenario, and if that's the case, what it is, you would want someone very strong, and you would want someone who's explosive off the ball, and that's Contavious Street.
When healthy. Just want to put that caveat in there.
When healthy.
which also is also an issue.
Well, if you really want to go into issues, Mike. All right, so let's go. Let me just let me rewind because I probably wasn't on here. I wasn't on the air. So let's talk about issues. All right. So I picked Jawan Jennings over Kevin White because Kevin White hasn't had one healthy season in the NFL yet. Does Kevin White have more talent? I don't know. Does he have more speed? Yes.
Wait, you don't know if Kevin White has more talent?
I know.
You didn't watch any of his film in college.
Of course I did, dude. I'm just trying to say he hasn't brought that talent to the NFL.
Okay. In addition to what
I know from Jawan Jennings, there's one strength Jawan Jennings, not to cut you off, has over Kevin White. You want to know what that strength is? Durability. Does that mean he's going to be a great wide receiver in the NFL? I don't know. But if you could throw him the ball, he catch the ball and make people drag people with him, that's a problem. Whereas if Kevin White catches the ball and drags some people with him, then all of a sudden he might be out for the next 6 weeks. So my point is there's no disrespect to Kevin White, but we're talking about when healthy. I agree. If Kevin White is healthy, he takes the top off the defense. He's definitely a better route runner. He's a guy you want on your team. I agree. But can
we're
he learn
talking about when healthy?
Can he learn this offense? Can he do that type of stuff? So that's the same caveat for our boy Contavious Street. If healthy, I think he does one thing right. And that's what Tony said.
So all the production is not there, and he's never healthy, but he's the guy. So
he's the guy that's going to get a spot.
He's a negative end, but he could be the guy.
Same way Kevin White could be the guy, and he's all negative.
Kevin White has the production in college. This guy.
We're not talking about. I'm talking about NFL. I don't care about college. These guys have been in the NFL. Why are we bringing up college stuff? What they did in college doesn't matter anymore.
NFL either.
It does.
He's played in the NFL. He hasn't done anything in the NFL either.
Oh yeah, they both haven't. They both been hurt. That's my point.
All right.
That's my point. They both been hurt. Not comparing positions, but they've both been hurt. That's all. If they both can produce healthy seasons, I think they both will be pluses for this San Francisco team. If not, we're going to have to keep shuffling. Every day we shuffle, whatever the word is. All right. I'm sorry, Mike.
They did both, actually. They did this Kia commercial with the gerbils, and they said, every day we shuffling. But Rick Ross said, every day we hustling.
We hustling, right.
Both of them are right answers. Both of them are right.
Good look, bro.
All right, Tony, man. You got 10 also, you said, right?
Yeah.
I think he had the same 10 I had.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. We got Armstead, Bosa, Ford, Jones, Kinlaw, Solomon Thomas, Hyder, Givens, Blair, and Street. Same. So
you don't have Taylor. He has. No,
Givens. I don't have Taylor.
I have Taylor, and I don't have Givens. So I'm probably wrong.
No, why would you be wrong?
I'm not testy, guys, because of what happened to the Celtics. Don't throw that in here. That's not what happened. I just want to talk about. We talk about when healthy, when injured. That's all. We just gotta,
practice. Let me tell you, this group right here, this defensive lineman is a group that really made me wish the most that we got preseason.
I know
this group right here is the group I wanted to see more than corner.
Me too.
More than wide receiver, more than offensive line. The defensive line, I wanted to see these guys in preseason so bad, man.
I think in camp, though, the defensive line has had the best camp. and that's going from all the praises from all the guys that were rotational players. The only player we didn't play, we have not heard from was Ronald Blair, Julian Taylor. I'm not sure if we heard about Kevin Givens because I think these guys were coming off of injuries.
I've heard some good things about.
Okay,
Givens.
that's good. You heard a lot about Kerry Hyder. You heard a lot about Kentavious Street. So all the guys that we talked, you were hearing a lot of good stuff about these guys. So I think that the defensive line had the best camp. I really do. I'm torn between Givens and Taylor, and I think if Taylor is not healthy and on the squad, then it's Givens' spot. But I think if Taylor is healthy, I think he edges out Givens. Givens can still go on the practice squad too, by the way. I think. Will he?
I just think this is another position group where there's injuries that you have to keep an extra guy. I honestly think this defensive line is not set. I really don't.
Okay.
I think they're still in the market to add another true speed guy off the edge. They tried with Deion Jordan. He really hasn't done much. It's been all negative. The only thing he's been successful with the team was fights.
Come on. If he makes this team, we're gonna all have a drink to that.
I think if he makes the team, it's because of his pure athleticism, and that's what got him drafted number 3 overall. But I do think the team is still like actively working the free agent wire, the cut wire, and they're going to be doing that all the way to like probably days before the first game. They're going to look for another piece to come off the edge. You have to keep an extra guy because we don't know what's going on with Ronald Blair. The same thing with wide receivers. Are they going to bring back Samuel fast? So you have to add another piece there. Mm-hmm. So with all these injuries, you're really not going to get a true 53 because you're keeping players to just cover for the injured guys because they're going to be inactive. So this is your classic scenario right now. I think one of these guys are going to be gone, and they're going to add a speed guy to the mix,
depending on who comes off waivers. And that's why I said that they don't sign Sanu right as of right now or ever, and because they're going to see what happens. Like there's going to be wide receivers that get cut, and it could be wide receivers that they can get cheaper than a Sanu that might fit the scheme. So we're just going to have to stay and pay attention to the waiver wire, guys. Y'all better know about that waiver wire because fantasy football starts on the 13th. So know about the waiver.
Oh, starts the Thursdays. The first game is a Thursday.
Yeah.
This comment right here is why I really considered adding Hyder.
Well, that's why I have Hyder because of speed off the edge.
Yeah. I am not mad. I'm not mad at Hyder. I'm not mad at Hyder at all. And it's weird because the guys I went back and added to this, this was one of the groups that I added back, and it was Taylor, actually. I didn't have Taylor making it originally, but then I saw his message. Remember those tweets we talked about at the top of the show? I was like, oh, if he's healthy, he's going to make the roster. All right, so let's keep it moving, man. We have all the rest of the defense. Which position?
Let's go linebackers, guys.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 linebackers.
I have 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3. I'm going with 5.
Right. Tony, you go first.
Okay, we're going to go obviously with the starting 3, Warner, Alexander, Greenlaw. So it's 1, 2, 3. I'm keeping Al Shaher on the roster because I like what he has to offer as a sideline-to-sideline linebacker.
Give it to me.
Huh?
Give it to me. Who's the last one? Give it to me.
Now, this is where I'm not going to say it right away because I'm still on the fence with this. You have – listen, let me speak. You have Flanagan Fowles. You have Joe Walker and Nazaucha. All right. I kind of think we saw what Nazaucha was. If the team moves on from him, they could save $1.5 million or $2 million in cap space. So this is where the finances get involved with the 53. Now you have Joe Walker, who was a starter with Arizona, beat out a first-round pick in Lewis Riddick, but Riddick, his name was, from Temple. So I'm between Joe Walker and Flanagan Foles. Okay, I like Flanagan Foles.
Not even in the conversation now.
No, because you probably can get another one of those guys to play special teams, and that's what he's really good at.
I'm going with one of these two guys. I'm leaning towards Flanagan Foles because of his ability to cover. He's a converted safety that they moved to linebacker. He's 220 pounds. But I'm going to go with the experience. If we don't know what's going on with the COVID situation with Fred Warner, we could plug and play Joe Walker potentially. So I'm going to go with Joe Walker here. Even though it was really close with me going with Flanagan Foles, I'm going to go with Joe Walker and go with the experience and a real true special teamer.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to bore you here, but I have the same exact 5 that Tony has.
Moving on.
No, what were your 4, bro? Hold up. Your
It's the
4.
same. I got the 4 of y'all 5. I don't have a 5th linebacker.
So you don't have Walker.
Or no.
Okay. So you have Al-Shaair. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Let's go to safeties. Yes, I separated safeties from corners because this was a bigger group than I thought it was going to be.
All right. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 safeties.
As do I. Tony is tabulating over there. Let's see what he has. Drum roll, please.
We're doing safeties?
Just safeties.
You just want the numbers or the names?
Just the numbers. Drum roll.
1, 2, 3.
4 is after 3.
4.
Yeah, you go.
5.
There it is.
All right. Who's starting this one off? Because Tony started the last one off.
You go ahead. You got it.
I have Tart, Harris, Cyprian, Ward, and Moore.
Tart,
Ward. Damn it, Breezy did it again. I don't even need to talk.
Now, don't be mad at me out there, y'all, because I like Maiden, but I think he gets stashed on the practice squad.
I don't know enough about Maiden to say I like him. Ain't no shame in my game.
Number 43, Jared Mayday Maiden. Okay. Can I put this disclaimer out, Tony? Do you have the same 5 before I say something?
Nope.
Yes.
You got it. You don't have Maiden on your list?
Tony has the same 5?
Hold on. I got Ward, Tart, Moore, Cyprian.
And Harris?
Wait a second.
We got Harris. We said that's the same 5.
He's got Maiden. He didn't say Harris.
I have Maiden.
He has Maiden.
That's where I'm wrong.
So you have Maiden over Harris.
Over Harris.
And I'm going to explain to you why. Okay. How many corners did you guys go with?
Well, I mean, I just want to know.
I got 6 corners.
I'm going to tell you why. How many corners did you go with?
I got 6.
I got 6 too.
Corners.
I went with 5.
So you went with the guy who can go back and forth.
Maiden can't play corner. Yeah, that's a lot to ask your undrafted rookie with no real camp.
Maiden could. I'm telling you, Wayne. Maiden could play corner. He could play.
I'm not saying that he can't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's a lot to ask this guy. Like, in his rookie year without
This is oh my God. Pull this message up. Season strip. Maiden can play is like DJ Reed. That's exactly why he's filling the role of DJ Reed. DJ Reed was listed as a corner, but could play inside, outside, free safety, strong safety. Maiden's the new DJ Reed to this roster. That's my exact thought process when I did this 53.
Cool. I'm hoping he makes the team. If he does, I just have him on the practice squad starting the season. But we'll see. We'll see, because you're not going to put Harris on the practice squad, but you don't even have Harris making the team.
So you could put Harris on the practice squad.
Everybody's practice squad eligible.
Everyone's eligible.
Here's the thing. I get that. I get what you're saying.
We're talking about Marcel Harris.
Yes.
Just so people, because there's a Tim Harris also in the secondary. Yeah. I want to make sure that the viewers are clear on who we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking to Marcel Harris. I think Marcel Harris gets a bad rep, but let's not forget how many turnovers he forces.
Oh, no, I agree 100%.
So, people are saying that he does. I mean, people are, comparing him to Colbert and things like that. Listen, if you understood Marcel Harris' story, man, he missed his senior year of football. He came in injured. They threw him into the fire, and it was just, it was what it was. After listening to Robert Saleh talk about Harris, I think he likes this kid. I really do. I really think he likes Harris. And Harris was having a great camp until the injury, and then Cyprien comes in.
Right. And Cyprien hit the ground running, never looked back.
Never looked back. And see, and Mike, that's these are backup safety positions. Or if we come out in a dime, right? These are your dime backs. Like, yeah. So it's going to be interesting because it should be one or the other, Harris or Cyprien. So I kid you not, I have these guys on my list. I don't know if you can see my list, but Maiden is there.
Hey, I see him.
All right. So it's not like I'm trying to disrespect the young kid. I just feel like if they get these veteran guys on here, guys that know everything, and they can stash him so he can continue to learn, I think that's the route they go.
Remember a couple of shows ago, we're going back a ways now, I was talking about correctable issues versus like other kind of mental snafus, right? Like I was talking about, I don't know if this is true or not, but I was talking about Witherspoon versus Mosley. And I was like, Witherspoon has shown he can do it. He's got to be more consistent. Where Mosley has to work on a couple of things and has to learn the playbook better. I felt like Witherspoon was more correctable and a faster fix, right? I feel that same way about Harris. I feel like what Harris does, he does really, really well. And the mistakes that he makes are easily correctable. I feel like the mistakes that Harris makes are easily correctable. You don't want him in coverage for too long. I get that, right? He's a safety. So ideally, he's not going to be in coverage that long anyway. So that you get what I'm saying? If the game stays in front of him, I really like Harris. And that's what I'm talking about. So I like what he could be. And I think that another year with his legs under him, another year in the playbook, more comfort, and getting to know the guys surrounding him, I think he could be all right. So that's why I had him making it.
Cool.
Tony, you look like you want to say something. Callie loves your pick, man.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's they play different positions though. So I get why we would. It's weird though, because all right, so the question is, you have 5 safeties and one you want rotating. So I get why he picked Maiden. That makes sense.
Because of the versatility.
Yeah. That's why I said
it's
that.
strictly versatility purpose. That's it. It's not that Harris is a one-trick pony, but I don't think Harris can line up in a slot if Kwan Williams goes down. We've got to remember something. Verrett has the hamstring. Okay, he was getting reps at slot. So now with Hayden on the roster, he could fill the nickel as well, the slot corner.
I think a lot of this stuff is smokescreen, but yeah, you're right. You really do. You're really right. Speaking of hamstring, let's go ahead and get into these cornerbacks so I can get into my bed. All right.
I believe this is the last group.
And then I have 6.
And
I have.
Mike, you should go first this time.
Tony only has 5?
Tony has
I
5.
only have 5.
He took 6 safeties, 5 cornerbacks. Okay, let's go.
I bet you I can predict his 5.
All right, let's try it.
I'm going to try to predict his 5. I'm going to go with Spoon, Williams, Sherman, Mosley, and Harris.
No, Verrett.
I was going to say that. You didn't give me a chance to predict yours, but yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wait. So now figure out which one he didn't have.
He didn't have Harris.
He took off Harris. No Tim Harris?
Yeah.
Verrett. I got Verrett.
He added Verrett. So the only difference between my list and Tony's list is I added Tim Harris.
Okay.
It's not that I don't like Tim Harris, but I mean, listen, this could be part of the problem. We don't know nothing. He could be getting reps and no one's saying anything about it. But I just think Harris is, because it's been so quiet, the league doesn't know nothing on him. It could potentially be a practice squad candidate.
Yeah.
My list is different from both of your guys.
Okay.
I have Witherspoon, Williams, Sherman, Johnson, Mosley, and Harris.
So you don't have Kwan Williams.
I said no. I have Williams. I have Akello Witherspoon, K'Wan Williams, Richard Sherman, Dante Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley, and Tim Harris.
Oh,
So
you
you
don't
have
have Jason Verrett.
6.
Yeah, he doesn't have Verrett.
I have 6. I don't have Jason Verrett. And yes, I have Dante Johnson making the roster.
I have Dante Johnson getting a call late down in the season and being a part of this team, but I don't have him making the 53
We haven't heard anything at all negative
about Dante or positive.
Dante Johnson.
I didn't even
But
know he was in
normally
camp.
When players keep making plays on somebody, you hear this guy's getting burned all camp. Remember last year, Grant was saying anytime the team wants somebody to feel good about the wide receiver, like if a wide receiver needed a confidence boost, they would put him up against this guy. That's what it was. We're not hearing that this year. We're not hearing it at all. And I'm just saying, I think Dante Johnson might be turning some heads. He might be doing his job well. That's all.
All right. And then last but not least, special teams. We all got Gold, Wisnowski, and Kyle Nelson.
Yes.
All right.
I almost had 4.
Of course you did.
But you know,
I almost had 4. And I was going to put one person strictly as a special team player.
They would give one person.
Richard James?
No.
They would give a person one slot. Who was this?
I was thinking about keeping Harris as a strict special teamer.
Marcel Harris?
Mm-hmm.
Which Harris?
Marcel. I think Marcel replaces Mostert on special teams, and then you have him and Tavarius Moore going down there. One guy, Tavarius Moore is usually the guy that wraps and makes the tackles because Harris just got to get down there and blow it up, and then Moore comes in and secures the ball. That's how we would get.
I think it could be. I honestly think it's going to be Tavarius Moore and Maiden as your gunners.
Okay.
That's what I think. This is why I kind of wish they didn't put Richie James back on the active roster. I mean, it's not a knock against him, but it just made it really hard for me to do this. But my goal was to have a 4th, like, you remember like back in the day, you had like the Steve Tasker. All he did was special teams. I was going to take Marcel Harris as my special team guy and just let him run down crazy on special teams. If the team decides to go versus Arizona, a dime or a big nickel and put multiple safeties on the field at the same time, he can fill that role as well. Yeah, but, that's it. It was hard for me to keep Tim Harris off the roster, but the way I wanted to build it as far as keeping more in certain positions due to injuries, you don't have the luxury to keep all those players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough cutting down to 53 unless you have a bunch of extra spots. Then you can throw in guys that you like I had that luxury of. But I do have a question for you guys on the corners, and then we can get up out of here. You both had Jason Verrett making this roster. Is that correct?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Why?
Because I think he's been having a good camp. And the only reason why he wouldn't make the roster is if the injury was more significant than what it was. Being that it's a hamstring injury, I think he's going to be just fine.
You guys don't think what we saw last year was enough to say we don't want him here?
Well, if it was, they wouldn't have re-signed him to a 1-year contract to bring him back. So they brought him back, and he's been having a good camp. I don't know if it's a great camp, but he's been having a pretty good camp. And they've been utilizing him in the nickel slot, which gets him on the field, which gets him more into action, gets him on some tackles, on some runs, gets him to cover that slot guy. So we would have to see. We wouldn't know. That's why I have him on here. Healthy, he's good.
Tony, who's having a bad camp?
Who
is having a bad camp?
Dante Johnson, because you ain't heard his name. No, I'm just playing.
Tom Compton struggles.
Witherspoon.
I heard Kinlaw is not having a bad camp, but he needs to learn an alternate move rather than just straight bull rush.
Yeah, he was just getting beat on some one-on-ones.
Deion Jordan. Let me look at the list. Rivercraft is new. I don't know too much about him. McKivitz had his up and downs. You haven't heard nothing about the special team guys.
Right.
True that.
Solomon Thomas, you heard up and down things. You heard sometimes he was good.
I don't think I've heard much negative about Thomas.
Yeah, I didn't hear much negative either.
I'm trying to think.
I mean,
I've been wanting to hate on him, but I don't think I've heard anything. I've heard that the weight gain has helped him a lot.
Yeah, I heard he looks good to me. He looks good.
Yeah.
He looks like he put on some muscle, and I can't wait to see this guy. It's I wonder what it's like. When I was in high school, I went both ways. Pause. I need to put that in there. but I play offense and defense. I play linebacker and I play fullback. But it seems like when they get to this level, when they get to their professional career, they need to know if they're going. It needs to be solidified that they're going to play one role, because who knows what the mentality is going to be. And I think that now that Solomon Thomas knows he's going to be inside, unless it's an emergency. You heard Kyle said it himself. I can't believe I said that. I hate when I talk. I'm done.
All right, guys, that's our 53, man.
But you know what I meant, right? And I paused it way before y'all could say anything.
Nah, bro, because it really paused everybody in real life. Like, you ain't have to say it. Everybody paused. You were like, in high school, it was like.
Because I meant when I play, I said in football. I didn't I say in football, or did I just say in high school?
You just said in high school.
Oh, well.
It's all good. It is all good. Guys, listen, that's our long-ass 53-man roster.
Tony, why you got to chime in? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? All right. It's cool.
I'm just fucking around.
It's cool.
You want to know what the sad thing? We just spent an hour and 41 minutes on this, and it's going to be totally different because they're probably going to cut somebody tomorrow. Or someone's going to be put on IR.
Mine is spot on. Listen, I'm the only one of you
guys. Not spot on, man.
Listen,
get out of here with that.
I'm the only one of you guys that did his entire 53 without one mistake. Look at this. No, nothing crossed out except for numbers where I had to add players. I didn't put anybody on here and say, nah.
Neither did I.
That's not true, because you showed us your paper and you had
name on there.
You had Maiden on your list and you didn't have him on there.
I did. I had toss-ups though.
Let me see Tony. Hold on. I see you, Tony.
I just had toss-ups. I said Harris, Maiden, and I went with Cyprian. So everybody that I've mentioned is on my list.
Tony just highlighted everybody. He printed out his whole.
I didn't cross off nothing.
Tony printed out the 80 man.
I was just doodling because y'all be boring as shit. See, I'm drawing X's box. Look, I'm drawing all kinds of doodle. I don't even know how to doodle.
Doodle.
Look, I do a smiling face right here. Yo, I have 80 HD, and if I'm not doing something, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta keep it moving.
Look at that list, boy. Look at that list.
So that doesn't mean yours official. Tony,
crazy.
So Tony's is professional because he typed it up because he ain't had shit to do today. Tony, you could have typed mine up too.
That's because Tony old school.
Nah, Tony, I like it. Dude.
Tony probably got one of those laser pointers in his house, and it's just for him. He be talking to himself. That guy right there.
Yep.
He's gonna go over.
He got the old school NFL film, the reels spinning around.
The reel.
Yeah. The movie camera. Yeah.
When Tony
I'm not gonna lie. I still have VHS tapes.
You know what I'm saying? He got to load that shit up. He's feeding it into the
I ain't had no 100 calories tonight, y'all. Come on, man. Look, man. I'm just having a good time, yo. It's been a great show. Great 53. Had my brain working. This was the only thing. What do you say? Do you write your list both left and right? Yo, are you trying to say that my handwriting is sloppy?
And you went both ways, bro.
Can you get that? Oh, that's what they trying to say? Okay, I got you, Jabroni. I got it.
We'll get up out of here. We don't even need no final thoughts.
I got it.
Night, guys. Faithful, make sure you guys are ready. We're gonna need your help. Calling all faithful.
Hey, what time we doing that? Because I have a Shoot the Breeze podcast tomorrow. So before you guys come into the Faithful podcast, this is the Nothing But Niners. Join me on my Shoot the Breeze podcast, and then we'll just jump right on here. How's that
What
sound?
time is Shoot the Breeze?
It's probably going to be like around 7.
So that should be over, what, like 8:30?
It should be over. I don't do nothing more than an hour.
All right.
No, I love you, Jim Brony. I'm just I didn't understand what you meant. You see how Mike had to break it down? I thought you were talking about my handwriting, but I got it. I got it.
Ambidextrous in the bed. All right, so we're gonna get up out of here.
Oh man,
We're gonna get up out of here, man. You guys make sure you check out the Shoot the Breeze podcast tomorrow, and then after that, we will be bringing you guys our Nothing But Niners podcast, where
I love
you
this.
guys are gonna help us come up with what the team is going to do. So here's how it's gonna work. All right, we're going to have a person call in for every position group.
Nice.
All right, just how we did it by positions tonight. That's how we're going to do it tomorrow. We want you guys to call in and help us figure out each position group. All right, we're going to come to an agreement amongst however many of us are on with the caller. We're going to have an agreement, and then boom, that's it. If you guys are not here, and let's say it ends up being 12 offensive linemen, and that means that we can only have 4 linebackers, then that's just how it's going to be. All right, it's going to be a first come, first serve thing. We're going to march down the list. But to make it fair, we're going to go from the offensive side to the defensive side. We're going to alternate offense, defense, offense, defense.
I love it, yo.
So that's how it's going to work. I hope you guys are ready. Hope you guys are patient. Hope you guys are understanding. And I hope to hear and see you guys tomorrow. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Breezy, you got that music queued up over there, Playboy?
Yeah, I think the reason why the connection sucked earlier was because the connection sucked. I think that's what it was. Because you said that the song sounded crazy.
Yeah, no, the song got real nuts, man. It got nothing futs. I didn't know what was going on over there, so it's all good. It is all good. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. We appreciate you guys. Thank you all for rocking with us. Hope you guys hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, and we're gonna get up out of here, fellas. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain,
but always remain faithful.
We out of here, guys.
See, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find